Howdy-ho, boys and girls. Will here with Just in Time Prepping. Hey, I just wanted to sit here this morning and have a sip with you. Talk about something that's bothering me. I post a lot of things on Facebook and all over the web, and I do it because I read a lot, and I like to think that I'm pretty well educated in what's going on in the world. And I don't really mess with anybody. I don't make any bad comments to anything that people leave me. But when people tell me that it's time for me just to let go and move on, that kind of bothers me because, this is supposed to be a world of free speech. If you don't like what I say, guess what? You don't really have to follow me. I don't care. Because I've lived through 6 decades of politicians' bullshit. That's the best way I know how to put it. And I'm going to tell you by far that, as much as I want to give Donald J. Trump a chance at what's going on, he just does not impress me yet. I mean, I don't care. All these naysayers and all these other people can say whatever they want, and I don't really care. I mean, he's doing one thing with this hand, and he's not telling us what he's doing with the other hand. He's got a bunch of old people that are supposed to be retired and are already millionaires, billionaires even, trying to help him run the country. And I mean, he's saying he's draining the swamp. He's draining the swamp of all the Democrats and putting in all the old establishment Republicans in their place. So I guess he's doing what he says. He's draining the swamp of all Democrats. And not only that, he's downplaying our past president. A president shouldn't be putting down his predecessor. I don't care what, he should just move forward with his agenda and do what he thinks he needs to be doing. But instead, he's got all these, for one thing, he's an egomaniac. He has to be on Twitter. I mean, look how much he put Hillary through for using an unprotected server during the campaign. Yet he still uses his same phone to Twitter day and night, and that's supposed to be okay. And people that do things that he doesn't like, he just goes out and tries to ruin their life. What's with that? Is that a president that you want to have in office? I mean, he should be above all that. I mean, even being a rich guy like he is, he should be above all of that. But he's not. He is still a bully. He still does whatever he wants. He thinks he's above it all. He's an egomaniac, and he strives for the attention. I think that's why he does what he does on Twitter, is to make sure he gets all the Americans worked up and become haters. I mean, do you want to be a hater your whole life? Do you want to hate somebody because they are not Republican or they're not whatever political belief you are? That's not who I am. I mean, I believe I have friends that are Republicans and I have friends that are Democrats. I have liberals and left wings and right wings and whatever. And even though I don't agree with what they say or do, that doesn't make me hate them. But he has to make people hate each other, and that really, really bothers me for a president. So, as much as you think he's doing good, I think we really need to slow down and pay attention to what he's doing in the background. And part of the things he's doing is trying to ramrod this Affordable Care Act through, just like happened for the Obamacare one. I posted a thing today I'm sure I'm going to catch holy hell for, because they're trying to pass this new health care reform through late at night without any discussion from the American people. They haven't even told us how much it's going to cost us yet, or anything like that. But you know, when the last administration did that, they caught hell for it, you know, and now that they're trying to do the same thing and they're being called on it, they're basically doing the same thing as the others did. And you know, here's another thing I just thought about this was when Obama came into office, you know, the Republicans swore that they would never do anything to support him. Not one thing. And all the way through his 8 years, Obama banged his head against the wall because the Republicans just would not support him in no way, shape, or form. And now that the shoe's on the other foot and the same thing is happening, you know what they do? Now they're going to call the Democrats terrorists. Who in the hell does that? Terrorists? Just because they have a different belief system? Gosh, you know, this is another reason I just can't seem to get my head around Donald J. Trump. I mean, if he wants to unite the American people, he needs to get the hell off of Twitter. He needs to get back into a secure environment. And he needs to run this country like a true president would, not like some spoiled kid that's just out having fun. So, you know, these are all things that bother me, you know, and this is why I'm afraid that shit's going to hit the fan. Because he's got alternative news networks ranting, I mean, totally ranting about what if this happens, what if that happens. They all calling each other names. They're calling the Democrats names. They're calling each other names if they don't agree. I mean, do you want to have your children grow up in a world full of haters? Do you want your children to hate you? Do you want them to hate their neighbors? I don't understand. I really don't understand. So, you know, this is what it's all about. My friends are telling me to back off and go with the flow, but I cannot do it with a clear conscience. I cannot do that. So, you know, if you don't want to hear what I have to say, the best thing to do is not to follow me. Because I'm going to keep on keeping on. I just can't see the world going the way it is. I see us pushing against the wrong people. I see Trump teaming up with the wrong people. I don't know what to think anymore for sure. I know one thing for sure is I don't want my son to grow up to be a hater. And if you're an American, you shouldn't want your children to grow up to be haters either. You should want them to grow up to look at the world on the bright side and try to make it better, not to make it a worse place. And the only way to do that is to keep pushing back, and that's what I'm doing now, and that's what I plan on keep on doing, because I read a lot and I research a lot, and before I post anything, I always make sure that I know what I'm talking about before I do it. So for shit hitting the fan, that's the only way you can do it. You still have to plan. You have to be prepared. You have to have clothes, water, food, shelter, and some sort of money, whatever that will be when shit hits the fan, because I'm not thinking it's going to be paper money, but I'm not sure what it's going to be yet. Gold goes up and silver goes up, but other than that, I'm not really sure what they're going to do with anything. They're supposed to be meeting somewhere in Europe to decide what the world monetary system will be going on sometime in the next month or so. So I'm sure they'll let us know what that's going to turn out. And as far as Trump goes, I'm going to stay pushing against him, because as far as I can see, he still hasn't proven to me to be the leader that everybody thinks that he is. Sure, anybody can bully their way through and do whatever they want, but in the wrath of it, they all end up with haters and people that want to commit crimes. Is that what you want? Is for the United States just to stay at war with itself, or I guess they're calling it a civil war? It's not going to be the war like we're going out and shooting the grays and the blues, but it will be a war between the protesters and the government, and that could be a civil war in itself. And all I want is for everybody to get along and try to make things work. I don't see him Donald, I'm sorry. I don't see Donald creating the jobs that he says he's creating. I see if you actually go and research it, he hasn't really created any jobs yet. I don't see any of the companies starting up in the United States yet. They say they are, but they're not. They haven't. And the wall, what the hell is with this wall? I mean, I read an article about Canada. We're not building no wall around stinking Canada. They're wanting to negotiate with them and have some sort of agreement with them. But we don't need a stinking wall there. But we need a wall between the United States and Mexico. Now, what is that? One thing after another with Mr. Donald. He says it's a campaign promise. Some campaign promises don't need to be kept. But what do I know? I am just a guy that sits in a lazy chair, watches a lot of TV, reads a lot of news articles, and tries to keep himself conversed in the ways of the world. And that's just the way it is. So this is just so everybody knows that, hey, I'm not just blowing smoke out my ass. I am actually doing what I do a lot of, which is read and research. And from what I see of Mr. Donald J. Trump, I'm not seeing anything that I like. So let's hope, cross our fingers, and hope that everything works out okay. And if you have any comments about this, put it down below. And let's keep the blog going. Let's try to get the super list going, because the way it's going, we may need to have that super list in action long before we really want to. So for now, I'm just going to say goodbye, and you can read below where to contact me at and other places besides YouTube, and hopefully you agree with me, and if you don't, then leave a comment, tell me why you don't agree with me. I'd be glad to discuss it with you. That's it. Have a great day. It's kind of cloudy and overcast here, so I'm going to make my day wonderful anyway. So you guys have a great day, and God bless.